Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Gail Carson. Welcome to Living Regret Free, a program that shows you how to live a better and more joyful life. As an added bonus, I invite you to listen to an introduction to my Mindset Matters program, which ties into this so well. Go to www.sobmindset.com. It's free, and I know you will enjoy it. If you'd like to contact me personally, drop me a line at gailcarson13@gmail.com or go to my website, www.spunkyoldbroad.com, and sign up for my weekly newsletter. Hi, everybody. This is Gail Carson, and we're here with a wonderful guest this morning, Shmaya David, all the way from Israel. He's an author of 8 books in the self-help, coaching, and business categories, and his most recent is Love Simplified. Now, you can't get any better than that. It's a #1 international bestseller in 8 countries across multiple categories. He's a master life and executive coach and a business consultant with more than 19 years of experience. His mission is to contribute to human success and happiness in the most practical manner. He started his professional life as an engineer. Now, there's something different for someone talking about Love Simplified. And he held management positions in various industries. Shmaya, wonderful to have you with us, and such a diversity. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm excited to be on your show and honored.
Shmaya, what made you write this book? I mean, Love Simplified. Is love ever simplified?
Well, I tried to simplify. Hopefully, I succeeded. What made me write this book? Well, I was married for 29 years to a wonderful woman, and we had a great life together. And we often joked that if we only knew how to extract and bottle what we had between us, we could sell it and get rich. But we never did. It was just a joke. And then I lost her to cancer, and I had to rebuild my life. And I managed to do that with a wonderful woman who is very, very different from my first wife in almost any possible measure you'd care to take. And still we have a great life together as well. And this convinced me that my first relationship, it was not just a lucky strike. That I didn't win the cosmic love lottery. I must be doing something right. And I decided that I wanted to share this with the world. At first, I did not yet know how, because I thought, okay, I can tell my story, I can tell how I live, but it will be anecdotal. I mean, it may not work for everybody. It's not, how would people learn from my story what to do? And then one day I was listening to a lecture about the principles of success in business, of all things. And suddenly it struck me that it's the very same principles that I use to succeed in love and that actually everybody uses to succeed in anything. It's just the same principles applied to a different field. And then I knew that I have the model, the structure to teach what I know. And this is how I created what I now call the 10 Love Habits, which is simply a translation of the general principles to actual actions that people can take on a daily basis to manifest love in their life.
Well, that's an amazing story, Shmaya. And I have to tell you that my husband and I were married for 45 years before he passed away. In fact, just about a couple of days ago, it would have been our 57th wedding anniversary. And I personally am now going through my 4th battle with cancer, so I can appreciate what you went through with your wife. And one of the reasons we were a little tardy this morning was I was at the hospital getting a shot. But we're here now together. So I have some questions for you. And you talked about your basic principles. And you also said that there are the 6 basic principles of high performance. Now, I don't know if they relate to your love habit principles, but what are they?
Well, these are simply principles of success in anything, really. So if you want to succeed, and it really doesn't matter in what you want to succeed, you need first to be able to see clearly, to have a good visualization of where you want to go, what you want to do, what is your purpose in life. You can't you can't succeed. I mean, you can't go anywhere if you don't know where you're going. So first you have to have this, and then you need to apply leadership. You need to be active and go ahead and lead your own life and possibly the lives of others to achieve this success. If you only follow, then you are fulfilling somebody else's dream. You need to follow your own, and you need to be fully accountable. You need to take 100% responsibility to everything you do. And you need to have what I call power, or you can say energy if you like, because if you don't have that, then you're unable to act. You need to have a full battery. You need to have something to go on, or else even if you have high intentions and you want to do something, you won't be able to. And you also need to have a drive, a compelling reason to succeed. And I'm sure that everybody of our listeners know people who have it all. They have the privilege, they have the education, they have the money, they have the good upbringing and supporting family and everything. And they never do anything. It appears like they lack the drive to succeed in anything.
Well,
so this is
the thing, Shmaya, when you're given everything, sometimes you do lack the drive. Unfortunately, those are some of the things that happen. Now, I have to say to you that my husband and I had a wonderful marriage. I mean, we were as opposite as you can possibly imagine. But you mentioned a couple of things, like loyalty and that kind of thing. But we also were totally individualistic. I had my own business. He had his own business. And we were separate all day long. But when we came together, it was like magic. And but I think it was because we depended on each other in one way, and yet we were totally independent of each other in another way. And so that's what clicked for us. So, you said that it takes responsibility in your relationship. And I will tell you that my husband was much better at that than I was. I mean, he was there in all kinds of different ways. For example, I came out of the gym one day and tucked under my windshield wiper was a note, "I love you," but with his own special handwriting, and he said love, L-U-V, I love you. And he was 2 doors away at a boating store because he was a boating nut. And I didn't see him at all, but there was that little message waiting for me. And he would do things like that, which were so uncharacteristic of him, but yet very characteristic of him because he loved his family so much. So it's interesting that you say, taking total responsibility in your relationship. So what do you mean by that?
Well, I find that many people feel that success in relationship is not up to them, or at least many people find themselves helpless in relationships. Like, okay, my spouse does not cooperate with me on that. He wants to do that, or worse, like he betrayed me, he cheated on me, and all these things. And it's always the other person. And what I say is this is a loser mentality. It's a losing strategy to hope that your success in anything will be dependent on another person. It doesn't mean that you are doing it alone, but you have to assume responsibility for your success in anything that you do, and this includes in your relationship. So instead of taking the position that I cannot do anything because he or she is doing something or decided something, I say that it is my duty to consider it my responsibility to make it succeed somehow. And I will concede to the fact that sometimes, in some cases, either the relationship were not right from the beginning or deteriorated so far that maybe the only way to have a good relationship is to pick another, to break this one and pick another. But I believe that in most cases, if you take this upon yourself to build a good relationship or to bring back from the edge a relationship that's about to fall into the abyss, then you can do it. You can learn new ways of communication. You can learn new principles. You can do things in a different way, and your spouse will respond to that if you do it correctly and if it didn't go too far already.
That's true. And I would also say that hopefully your spouse or your partner is someone who is open to this, because there are a lot of people who should not be in a relationship. I mean, there's a lot of factors in domestic abuse, for example, and the partner is not going to change no matter what you do, even with counseling. So hopefully the other person is a good person that you're dealing with and will accept this. But you also say that a sincere apology is important in the relationship. So when do you apologize for something maybe you didn't even realize you did?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I need to apologize when I caused hurt, when I made a mistake. It can be an honest mistake, like I simply didn't know or did not pay attention, or it can be something more serious. And the reason I say that an apology is required sometimes is because if we made a mistake, if we messed up, and eventually we all do in one way or the other, big or small, we all do, we're human. So, okay, I messed up and I caused some bad feelings or some issue to my partner. Now, if I try to defend my ego or whatever by trying to deny it or trying to belittle it, if I have now this issue and it's sitting in my living room like a monster, and it's oozing poison into the relationship, and if I try to belittle it, if I try to say, oh, it's not that important, or you're just blowing it up, it's not such a big a deal, why are you making everything such a big a deal? So what will happen is that my spouse, in order to make me see the point, will have to make this monster bigger. He will have to, or she will have to take the opposing position and make it, no, it was a big deal, and you did that and this and it's like you did the other time and everything, and it grows and grows. And the only thing to get rid of this monster is simply to admit that you made a mistake and you apologize. And as if you can do that sincerely, and as much as you can in specifics that shows the other side that you indeed understand what happened. So I can say, okay, I apologize that I forgot to pick your mom from the train station and she stood for an hour in the snow. Okay, I forgot all about it. I was immersed in work and I'm sorry, I forgot. So I accept my mistake. I own it. And then I need to take the next step, which is, if I can, to amend it. So I assume that in the case of the mother, somebody picked her up or she came by a cab. So it's not, maybe I cannot fix it anymore, but I can apologize to her as well. And I can take the responsibility to make sure that I at least minimize the chance that it will happen again. So next time, maybe I need to set myself an alarm on the phone when I have a task that I could forget if I am busy doing something else. But there are many ways I can take responsibility to be better next time. And if I convey to my partner, I say, okay, I'm sorry that I did that, and I say exactly what that is, so my partner knows that I understand exactly what it is. It's not just a platitude, not just something general. And then I can say what I'm going to do, hopefully to make it better next time. So the monster goes away and we can resume our lives. And it's much better than trying to deny it.
Well, I totally agree with you, and hopefully that works. But you get into some other areas as well, and you talk about that it is important in terms of uh, you know, the relationship, the fine art of foreplay, and that means different things to different people. So, what's your definition of the fine art of foreplay and why it's important?
Okay, it has to do with what I call the habit of eroticism. I believe that sexual relationship is a very important part of any relationship between a couple of loving relationship, and I don't believe that you can do without them. And I think even though it may not be the most important thing, you can argue about what it is, but it's still something that should be good. And eroticism is all about the art of making this part of life interesting, compelling, enjoyable. And I believe people should engage in having their sexual relationship within the relationship the best that they can. And this part of it, as far as I'm concerned, is what I call the art of foreplay. And most people, when you say foreplay, so they usually think about maybe the 5 minutes because before you have intercourse. Okay, so maybe you kiss, maybe you hug, maybe you do other things that we will not elaborate here. But people think about it as limited to the just before we are having sex. And I say that this is a very narrow and limiting view of foreplay. As far as I'm concerned, foreplay begins just after you regained your breath after the last time. And then you can roll over and sleep, but this will not do much for your relationship. But you can hug, you can kiss, you can look into your partner's eye, you can display your appreciation of the beautiful things that you just had together in words or in touch or in the look on your face. And if you do that, then you start the next time. And it can be in 5 minutes and it can be in 5 days. But if you continue to keep this fire going through these days, it will come faster and more enthusiastic. So next morning, when you get up and dress, you can always look at your partner with this look that says, well, I know that we have to go to work now, but if we didn't, I'd be happy to undress you. And you can go past them when they are busy and plant a little kiss on their neck or say these little things like, I want you. And all those things that couples know how to do, but often forget to do. And if you continue to do it, in my opinion, this is foreplay. And it will bring the next time, it will be very enthusiastic and very fulfilling.
Well, I certainly hope those are things you talk about in your book because they are certainly necessary. And it's interesting because people used to say, you and your husband, my husband and I, that we were like little kids because we were always holding hands and we were always kind of looking at each other in a special way. And it was just a great relationship. And so, and I say it was very, no one ever thought we'd succeed. Not our parents, not our neighbors, not anybody, because we were so different. But, you know, it really depends on the deep feelings that you have. And, you know, that's why I think that what you're talking about is so important. So
yeah, you mentioned the gestures that your husband did with the note on your windshield. This ties in with what I call the habit of romanticism, of being romantic. So you do all these little things all the time to show your partner that you're in love, to continue to convey and express the love on a daily basis. It's way more important for your relationships than going on a romantic tour or having a romantic dinner or all that. These little daily habits, this is what really creates a good relationship.
Well, I totally agree with you. And of course, you know, a lot of people think that foreplay is exactly what you said, you know, right before sex. And you said that you should make eroticism a habit. And I assume that's some of the things that you've just talked about, because a lot of people just, all they have between them is sex. There is no real relationship. And although sex is a really important part of a relationship, if it's the only part of the relationship that's good, it's certainly not going to last. So when you talk about eroticism, are there other factors that go into it?
Well, it is my belief that in most cases, if it's just sex, you don't really have a relationship, and you have to have the other things. Again, that's my view. I don't know if everybody agrees,
Well, no,
but for me, it's about
agree
love.
with you. I happen to agree with you. And I think that's one of the, I mean, that's what makes it last over 50 years, you know? It's not the sex which happens in the first maybe 5 or 10 years, you know, because that may go away. But we have about 5 minutes left. So
Okay.
I know that there are things that people will want to know. And I know that you have, I know you've got a gift that you want to offer to our audience. So what is that?
Well, as I mentioned, the feeling of helplessness, of being unable to make a change in a relationship, is something I encounter a lot. In fact, it's one of the most common notions that I get from my emails, from my readers and people that communicate with me and with people that I consult. So I've created a free training. I recorded a webinar and it's free on my website. And I call it, "Why do I feel so helpless and what can I do?" And it's exactly about that. It's the reason people feel helpless in a relationship and what it is based on and how to use this understanding of where it comes from to stop feeling helpless and start creating a change. And it's, as I said, it's on my website. The website.
Why don't you give us your website, Shmaya?
It's love-simplified.com. So www.love-simplified.com. And there is a link there to whoever buys the book, the link to some additional materials. And the link to the training is at the bottom of this first page. So free for everybody. I'd be happy if they use it. I think it should be very useful to a lot of people.
Well, you know, I have to tell you, and this is what's so wonderful about the age of communication that we're in right now. Shemaiah is in Israel, and yet his feelings on love and relationships and life are universal. So it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you are. It matters how you think and how you feel. And I know that it's important to you to have people have a great relationship. And you are really blessed to have found it twice in your life, because that's not an easy thing to do. And as a matter of fact, I'm creating a program right now called Finding Love After 50. And I think I'm talking to a lot of dating coaches, and it's really interesting to hear their philosophy on things. But you are just a wealth of information, and I think people should go to your website. Remember, it's love-simplified.com, and that's where you're going to find his webinar and so forth. I know also that you also talked about being a high-performance loving person, and I think if you listen to what he has to say and you look at the things that are on his website, it's going to help you. And those of you that are going through some kind of issue right now can really benefit from something like this, because, and by the way, where is your book featured? Is it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. You can find it easily there. It's Love Simplified.
Wonderful. So folks, I think this is somewhere you should really take a look at, because I talk to so many people, especially now with what we've been going through in the last 7 months. Relationships are fragile, and people are getting on each other's nerves. And families are not only living together, they're working together, they're schooling together. It's a difficult time for everybody. And I'm sure that Shmaiah's work would be just so invaluable for you. So be sure to go to his website and check it all out. Shmaya, I'm glad we were able to do this today. I think it's an
Yeah.
important message, and I'm glad that you're promoting it, because I think it's well worthwhile and very necessary. And I want to thank you so much for being on our show today. Living regret-free is what it's all about, and I would almost say loving regret-free is what it's all about too. So thank you so much for your contribution today.
Thank you very much for having me, and I'm looking forward to have a Spunky Open Broad Club in Israel.
Oh, wonderful. Spunky Old Broad Club. Yeah, fantastic. Thanks so much, Shmaya. Maybe you can help me with that.
Maybe. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Hi, this is Dr. Gail, and I wanted you to know I have a whole bunch of other things to offer you. If you go to spunkyoldbroad.com, you will see an array of SOB stuff for sale and all our latest products and additions. If you're interested in getting on TV, I have a brand new course, Get on TV. And if you want to start your own business, you'll want my SOB Guide to Business Success. I know you'll love them all. I guarantee it.
Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. I choose my guests carefully, so if you have someone you'd like me to interview, please drop me a line at gailcarson13@gmail.com. In the meantime, check out my intro program, Mindset Matters, at www.sobmindset.com. See you next week.